All right. We can go ahead and get started, everybody. I can't wait to talk about this. So, let's begin. Yo, peoples, QShoe92 here, and welcome to my discussion of my time playing the Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League Alpha. To start off, I went in with optimism because from the gameplay that I saw, it already started to appeal to me for this game. And this is, of course, during the period where everyone is still remembering how the February state of play from last year, how it left people so unbelievably jaded because the gameplay is not what they wanted and not what they expected. So I remained optimistic because it still appealed to me, and I wanted to see what Rocksteady was going to do. So we started to see further down the line throughout the months, really near like the later half of last year, we started to see more information about the game, where we started getting insiders, and we got to see a little bit of story, and we got to see a little bit more gameplay, and we got to get some explanations about what to expect from this game. And to me, it started to be even more appealing. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this right off the bat. I honestly feel like everyone who has like an overly negative opinion of this game, I feel like it's way overblown. And judging from my experience, maybe I'm not seeing the game the way they do, but what I went through playing the alpha pretty much solidified my purchase of getting the deluxe version of this game. But, you know, people have gone out of their way to make countless videos about like, oh, I'm skeptical. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, I hate this. And then those flames were even fueled even further because IGN decided to be IGN, and it says like, we played this and we didn't like it. And I really wonder, do people base their purchases off of other people's opinions? Because what IGN experienced and their opinion, they didn't like it. It doesn't mean you don't have to like it. So seeing people just jump on the bandwagon about this game and going out of their way to see, because there's quality in this game, and I'm going to tell you why, because of what I played. Since the NDA has lifted a little bit, so now we can speak on it. I can't show pictures and I can't show video footage, even though I have it. I can talk about it. So I feel like the hate for this game is just massively overblown, and people are just taking other people's opinions as their own rather than making judgments for themselves. But my time with the alpha, well, firstly, I signed up for the alpha, and I was really hoping I could be a part of it. And since it was relatively open for a lot of people, I got a chance. Me, Godjill, and Senior got a chance to play the alpha, and I had fun. I had some genuine fun. See, the thing that stuck out to me, that really appealed to me, was how similar it felt to Sunset Overdrive and Borderlands. And those of you who've been on my channel before know how much time I put into Borderlands, the amount of streams I did, the videos, the walkthroughs, the playthroughs. I did so much stuff for Borderlands. And I got like a massive vibe from that when I was playing the game. And just playing through it, to go through the beginning, you get like a tutorial where you're taught how to do everyone's moves. You start with Deadshot, and you learn how to fly and use his jetpack. He has afterburners, he has kickstart. These different moves that make it so that his traversal is good. For Deadshot, flying around feels smooth. It feels good. You're not just going to be flying in the air infinitely like Iron Man from Marvel's Avengers, or just flying in the air. There is a limit to how long you can be in the air. But when you go to the skill trees, and I'll get to that, there are different skills you can unlock that will make it so that you can stay in the air longer and even refund the fuel you use up. Like getting critical hits will reduce your fuel consumption every 10 seconds. And I believe that's called Skyborn Shooter, I believe. uh, and you can get that skill. Then there's another skill where it just flat out decreases all of the fuel you use, just overall. And then there's another one where, hey, if your combo's up this high and combos up this high, you are able to, when you get kills, you're able to reduce. Yo, senior, what's going on? You're able to reduce your fuel consumption while you're in the air. But I'll get to the skill trees in a minute. But playing through the tutorial, it felt good. It did not. Here's the thing: when it comes to games like these, the worst thing you can possibly do for different characters that all four of them move differently, and they're going to add more characters as time goes on. The worst thing you can possibly do is make these characters feel clunky, and they didn't. Now, one thing that may pop up to some people is there a sprint button? It's a small thing, but is there a sprint button? No, because you're already just breaking out into a sprint. Like, you're just full on sprinting already. Sure, and it's not you're stopping, and then you just start going, and you start sprinting. They just started the answer part of the Q&As and the Rocksteady Discord. Cool, awesome. I can cover that as well, just in case people aren't a part of it. Yeah. I'll let me see the answers that they're doing here. Yeah. Okay. Over the next step. Okay. So right here, early this week, we asked you for questions you had for our developers, and we've received hundreds of questions. So thank you so much for your interest and engagement. And then, of course, we'll go through it. We'll go through it. Everyone's being introduced, and we have numerous questions. We have questions being answered right now. But I want to cover what I want to cover what I'm currently. Hold on. Let me see here. What in the world? What in the world? What in the world is happening in Discord? Hold up. What in the world? What in the world happening? Not in the Suicide Squad Discord. What's going on in mine? What in the world is this? Hold up. Goodness. Okay. All right. I need to get back to what I was talking about. Playing each of these characters in the tutorial. Sorry, that just distracted me. That was a whole bunch of randomness just going into Discord, but I guess that's what happens when you have young people in the Discord, I guess. But yeah, I'll deal with that later. Playing as each of these characters, you got like your tutorials and how to fight and how to shoot and everything, and moving as these characters, movement does not feel clunky. It doesn't feel like tank controls, especially if you're playing with King Shark. It does not feel bad to move around as these characters, and that's just like with basic movements. I'm not even getting into their traversal methods. Like Deadshot has his jetpack, and Harley Quinn has her grapple, and King Shark has his super jump ability, and Boomerang has the Speed Force, in which he can throw his boomerang, and he's able to, just teleport and just run real fast over to where that boomerang goes. But he's essentially teleporting. That's kind of what it is. It's just high speed movements. But the gameplay for all of these characters, just feels smooth. And going from playing Marvel's Avengers from Marvel's Avengers and then messing with Gotham Knights, and then going to play the alpha for Kill the Justice League, there's this distinct level of control that just feels right for all of these characters. Now, mind you, I say this even though I spent most of my time playing Deadshot and King Shark. I played a little bit of Boomerang, and Harley was the least I played. But those two characters are probably ones I'm going to have to spend time on in order for me to get used to their traversal methods. Made, good to see you. Calm down in Discord. You going... Calm down. Calm down in Discord. Seriously. You're going back and forth with an AI bot that's automated. He's not going to respond to you, so just calm down. It's not that serious. But the traversal methods just feel good. It took me a while to get used to Harley's because she has not only the ability to grapple, but she also has the ability to swing around with the grapple as well. And there's like a certain cooldown you can do. You can dive and then decrease how long that cooldown is, and that will allow you to continue swinging. Then you have King Shark, who basically is just the Hulk. I mean, he had his ability to do long jumps and everything allows him to just go on all fours at high speed, which means that on the ground, he's pretty much the fastest unless you go to Boomerang, who, if he throws his boomerang, he just runs at high speeds over to that location if you're on the ground, or he just teleports up a building to catch his boomerang, or there's a skill that makes it so that if you throw the boomerang towards the ground and then hit either the X button, I think it's the X button on PlayStation, and he'll take off in just like a full-on super speed sprint. And there's a skill for him that will allow him to sprint for longer. So that can be one definitive way for Boomerang that you can get around the city incredibly fast. Playing through the tutorial, the banter between the characters was, fun and funny. I actually enjoyed the dialogue. It didn't sound what a lot of people would call cringy nowadays. I feel like people really like to use that word way too often. But the dialogue was good. Then we got the beginning of the game where it shows everybody in their cells in Arkham, and they're brought to Bel Rev by Amanda Waller. And then you go through like the intro sequence of how not one, but everyone gets the bombs embedded into their heads. And oddly enough, you often forgot to slide and dive with Harley to recharge the drone faster, but when it did, it flows. Can't wait for the upgrades. See, here's the thing, and I got to get into... you know what? I'm not going to talk about the story too much. I'm not going to talk about the story because I want to cover that story when the game releases. But the big crux of the alpha was the gameplay. And first off, Metropolis is huge. The whole map where we got to explore, where certain portions of the map were covered and we couldn't even go to because it was just cut off from the alpha. But the whole area you can go in Metropolis, it's absolutely massive. And it gave me the same vibes as traveling around in Gotham and Arkham Knight, but the whole landscape is huge. And this is where the traversal comes into play. Getting from point A to point B, especially in a game where you have superheroes and supervillains, super-powered movement of any kind, or just improved traversal over just simply jumping, vaulting, and then running from point A to point B, that should be the most paramount thing that should be, made sure that it's intuitive, but it's also complete. Like, it makes sense. It should be made sure that it makes sense when you're going through a city. And here, it makes sense, and it's good. The traversal is good in this game. Getting from point A to point B should be, on occasion, just not just something you do to get to a location, but it should be fun. You should want to travel around with these characters' traversal. I mean, I could just switch over to King Shark, and mind you, when you're playing by yourself, you can instantly switch over to characters right then and there. You don't need to go back to a hub. You don't need to stop a mission in order to switch. You can switch anyone at any time, unless someone is already playing as that character, but I believe you can have multiples of the same characters on the same team. So that's something that can be done. But traversal for this game is very well done, and I don't even have it at a level where I have some of the best skills that also enhance traversal. There's a lot of skills, but the alpha only capped you out at level 15. And Deadshot was the only one I got to level 15 because I spent time with him the most. I'll get into each character's unique skills and setups and what makes them unique against each other, even though the main way you're going to be fighting is using guns. Every character feels different. The play style in which you play them feels different. How you play them is more than just you taking the best gun you have and just gunning everyone down. Each one has a very distinct style that makes this baseline primary way of fighting unique to each of them. I think I've never seen an open world like this, not in size, but in a variety of buildings and verticality. It's extremely vertical. There are tons upon tons of tall buildings, places where you can just dive off of in order to get your traversal started. Like, there's a building in the middle of Metropolis that's next to the Daily Planet. Mind you, it's very fun to climb up to the Daily Planet and then just jump off. Just because, especially if you're playing King Shark and he has like the biggest vertical height gains when it comes to his traversal, he can just jump straight into the air. There's an upgrade for King Shark that increases the height of his jumps, which I thought was amazing because I'm thinking to myself, why didn't the Hulk have this in Marvel's Avengers? Why are we getting a game that has better traversal? Just straight out the bat. And Marvel's Avengers couldn't do that until its final month. Like its final month of support. Whereas all like, oh, now we're going to increase all traversal now. 3 years after the fact. Even though people were asking for it since the beta. But climbing buildings, it's not boring. Just traveling anywhere in general is not boring. My overall experience was I found it very difficult for me to put the controller down. Not because I was desperate to find anything to do, but because I was in a mindset of like, okay, I'm here, need to find some enemies, need to take them down. And sure, the level cap limit was all like, man, I wish I could just go further and see what the top skills are, because there's some crazy skills that change up how I play Deadshot during my time. But gameplay, traversal, top notch, and I can't wait to see what it's like to travel around with a maxed out character and then incorporate it into combat. And that's another thing. Traversal weaves its way, is intertwined into combat. It's not like traversal and combat. Traversal works with combat. There's so many different avenues of traversal that complement the combat angle of this game. So for Deadshot, for example, obviously he has his jetpack. And he has like the height advantage when he's the only one who can stay in the air the longest and be able to, take down enemies without touching the ground. A lot of his skills make it so that he can do more damage while he's airborne, can make it so that enemy kills keeps him airborne. A lot of skills that make it so that when you do, there's a thing you can do in the game called Shield Harvest, which is a special stun that you can inflict on an enemy, and then you can just insta-kill them with the Shield Harvest, and you gain shields back. It's very beneficial, but a lot of skills are centered around Shield Harvest that also complement the rest of your combat. So, there's this one skill for Deadshot, where if you do Shield Harvest, it gives you an instant 5x combo, which is useful for getting to the capstone skills for each tier. And the max combo you can reach is 50. And having your combo count that high gives you access to numerous skills. Like for Deadshot, when he gets a kill, he immediately, when he gets 5x combo, his 5x combo, his sniper skill automatically activates. Matter of fact, I can actually do this. I can look at the footage that I have. I can't show you, but I can go through the skills of every character. Because why wouldn't I do that? So for Deadshot, we have his entire tool set is called, he has 3 different skill trees. His first one is called Tools of the Trade. His second one is called Locked and Loaded. And his third one is called Fly Like a Bullet. Fly Like a Bullet is centered around him using his jetpack, him staying airborne, him getting more damage increases while he's airborne. His Tools of the Trade is centered around his gun damage, and he also has like a bunch of melee skills in there as well that also work. So if you're the type of individual that wants to have some skills based on melee, you have that option. Now, mind you, the melee is not going to be like free-flowing combat from the previous Batman games. This is a gun game. This isn't a fisticuffs game. But there are multiple skills you can get for these characters that are centered around just melee. Like for Deadshot, he has a skill where, let me see. He has a skill where, here it is. Melee hits cause enemies to spawn firearm ammo, but the melee cooldown is increased by 1 second. So when you use a melee, you are just basically getting ammo back. And there's some other ones. Let me see. Increase critical hits. Critical hits reduce jetpack heat up by 10%. There's a lot of skills. Matter of fact, we're gonna go through each one. So for Deadshot, his first tier skill in Tools of the Trade, and that will be the first skill you unlock, is called Sniper. Sniper activates at 5 times combo and higher and increases firearm damage by 25% and causes critical counters to regenerate 5% shields. And it shows you what gets increased, and it says recommended playstyle Sharpshooter. So if you want to hang back, and there's different playstyles you can use with some of these skills. So going forward, we have Sniper, then we have Hollow Point, increases critical hit damage by 15%, and that's just base. And then we have Punch It In. Melee hits cause enemies to spawn firearm ammo, but the melee cooldown is increased by 1 second. And then we go to the third tier. The previous one was a second tier. Punch It In is a tier 2 skill. Then on the third tier, we have Assault Rifle Specialist. Critical hit damage with assault rifles is increased by 20%. Lethal Flow, critical hits have a 100% chance to generate 1 additional combo. This can only happen once every 5 seconds. So there's a lot of skills that are based on increasing your combo counts very quickly, even though some of them have like 5-second cooldowns. Then we have tier 4 in the red. Did I go to all of them? Hold on. I want to make sure that I went to all of them. See if I can mute that. Pistol Specialist. There's Pistol Specialist. It won't let me go over to the thing. I'm trying to look at it. There it is. At 10 times combo and higher, critical hit chance with pistols is increased by 25%. So there's a lot of good skills there. Lethal Flow. Ultra Impact increases critical hit chance by 20%. A lot of skills that are based around critical damage and critical chance for Deadshot. And then his what was it again? Then is Locked and Loaded. I'm probably going to go through this listing again, but you guys will be able to see it once I'm playing the game. Or if they put up like a build planner for Suicide Squad. But Locked and Loaded is basically his skills for damage reduction, shield overcharge. 10 damage delta is increased by 50% against enemies that have more than 50% more health. Performing 3 wrist cannon hits while airborne generates 15 combo. This can only happen once every 15 seconds. Now, the thing about this this specific skill is that 3 wrist cannon hits, that also flows into his Shield Harvest move, where using Shield Harvest is him essentially using his wrist cannons. And that also can give you more combos. So using that skill with the one I just mentioned will gain you 20 combos instantly with that one instance. And then you still get 5 times whenever you do like a Shield Harvest. I want to find that one specific skill because it's actually really good and it's part of the build that I'm going to be using. If only this thing had more precise... Yeah, it's called Flight Suit. They're answering my question? Wait, they're answering my question? Wait, they're answering my question? Whoa! The devs are answering my question! And what do you mean, shout out to a legend of the Discord? Me? What do you mean? Why are the devs calling me a legend? Why are the devs calling me a legend of the Discord server? What? Oh, yo! Okay, so my question was, are there any plans past characters reaching max level, like a prestige system or something like that down the line? And they answered my question! A most excellent question. To start with, each member of the squad has their own unique talent trees, 3 for each character with 10 tiers within each tree. These provide powerful upgrades to different playstyles, as well as interesting choices as to how you want to play your squad members. That said, we really want to reward you if you want to keep playing the game past reaching max level with a character. Once level 30 is reached, on a squad member, you will unlock squad talents. This is, ooh, they know how to get me. They know how to get me. They know my weakness. This is a shared group of upgrades between all your squad members, regardless of their level. There are a lot of these, and for the squad levels, they are actually infinite, and there is no real level cap. Stop it! Ah! Oh, let's go! I'm so happy I can share this moment where they're answering my question. I want to react to this. Can I please react to this? Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. Let me see. You can freely respec squad talents the same as regular talents at almost any time. These also add yet another layer of customability for different playstyles and builds, but where the talent tree provides you with more game and playstyle defining traits, the squad levels are geared more towards specialization with example, specific weapon types, or game mechanics. Yo! Each squad member level counts towards your total squad levels, and the higher the squad level, the more squad talents are available. For those of you who are especially astute, that means that if you level up all your characters, you can get additional squad levels really quickly. And that, of course, also applies to the characters we add post-launch, but we're not supposed to talk about those today. Sorry. That is amazing. That's amazing. Yo! Yo! Wow. Yo! This is what this makes me happy. This makes me happy. First of all, I don't know if the devs from Rocksteady will ever see this stream, but thank you. Firstly, calling me a legend on the Discord? The devs know me. They know me. What? Or at least they know my name, but that's cool. But it answers a question that I wanted. Let me say this. When I played Marvel's Avengers, they eventually introduced something called the Champion System, which is pretty much what I asked those of Rocksteady, of those of Rocksteady, of what we could possibly get. But the problem with it in that game is that it was just incremental increases rather than them being fundamental game changers. They had basic stuff like increase your melee to 2% by 2% by 2% by 2%, and it didn't feel worth it. It didn't have what was necessary for people to want to go after it. Sure, people maxed it out, but at the end of the day, it just felt more like an unnecessary grind for very small payoff. You would spend tons of hours for a 2% increase. That felt bad to me. Now, I've seen this sort of element in video games before. Diablo 3, the Borderlands series. Borderlands 3 actually did it in a very good way, because if you turn off like your vault levels or your vault hunter levels, you can definitely see a definitive difference in between having it turned on and off again. So, and I like prestige systems in RPGs, period, because sure, you can get to max level, but what about if you want to get even stronger? And the fact that they just said that the levels are infinite, what? So you mean to tell me that even if I reach max level and find the best weapons that there possibly are to find in the game, the highest echelon of stuff, I still can make myself stronger after the fact? Essentially, the grind never stops. The fun, the party never ends. I'm fine with that. That alone is amazing to me. So, going forward, I have to say, first of all, I am so grateful that they answered my question. I'm so grateful that they answered my question. Wow, that is actually so cool. I can't believe that. Wow. Wow. I can't believe that they answered my question. That's amazing to me. That is amazing. And how are people reacting to it? What if I want to put like a smile with a tear on the side, like, thank you. I wanted to show you. I'm so glad. But seriously, not only oh, that's amazing. All right, I got to get back to my time. with the alpha. Also, Starvel, thank you for letting me know. I never would have known the devs answered my question and called me a legend of the Discord server had you not said anything. Sorry for my slow response. There's a delay. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. Legendary status. Apparently, I can carry that with me now. Sure, it's like they're just saying that because of the questions, but it's like, wow, the devs think I'm a legend. Wow. That's something. That was a great question. I really can't wait for this game. Neither can I. So, continuing where I left off. Playing as everybody and their skills, all the skills seem like something straight out of Borderlands in terms of scope and how powerful these skills can be. A lot of people, if you've ever played the Borderlands series, a lot of characters have some overpowered skills that can make your experience, like when you're starting out, you may feel weak, but as soon as, like, say for instance, you played Zero in Borderlands 2, all it takes is you getting your hands on all of his sniper skills, or specifically the boar skill, and then all of a sudden, you are just taking everybody out. And because the skills complement each other and actually make you feel more powerful. It isn't like in Marvel's Avengers, and I keep bringing that up because that's what people keep bringing up, but I'm bringing up its faults so that you can understand what how great the positives are in this game. I'll give you a heads up if there's anything crazy being answered. Kitty, good to see you. What's up? Well, I'm talking about my time in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Alpha, and apparently one of the devs have not only answered one of my questions, but apparently called me a legend in their Discord server. That's gonna stick with me for a hot minute. I'm sorry. Shout out to a legend of the Discord server. Me. That's amazing. That's amazing to me. But I'm just talking about my time during the alpha. But the key distinct thing that makes these characters feel like they're going to be vastly more cool to play as versus any character that you had in Marvel's Avengers is that the skills really do complement the character. For Deadshot, so many skills encourage you to be airborne or just be accurate. Because there's one skill where you can just continuously stack up damage until it's in the hundreds until you miss. Because the thing about Deadshot in the comics is that he's known as the man who never misses. He never misses. So there's a skill that centers around you being skillful in your gunplay. As long as you don't miss, your damage keeps increasing with this one skill. But if you miss, it resets. It's like Gage's anarchy skills. You can keep stacking anarchy over and over and over and over again, but if you reload prematurely, you lose all of your anarchy stacks. And the thing with Gage in Borderlands the thing with Gage in Borderlands is that she could get to ridiculously high levels of powers to the point where the voice actors would start breaking the fourth wall. So like, I don't even know what to say at this point. You're breaking the game, dude. That's how powerful Gage could be. I never got Gage to that point in Borderlands, but one day I may attempt it once more. But it functions like that. Matter of fact, let me see if I can actually find that skill. Hey, Kyushu, how's your day? Unfortunately, I cannot read out your name because it just has it in blocks. But my day is great. Talking about my time in the alpha, since they released that part of the NDA, I can't show images or show you a video, but I can tell you about my time. And I'm just still geeking out on how the devs kind of acknowledged me as like a legend of their server and answered one of my questions, because they're currently having a Q&A on their Discord server right now answering people's questions. And one of my questions, which was fundamentally one of the most important to me, got answered. There, even if you meet, which was, I was asking, once you reach max level, can you still get stronger? Or is there a prestige level and such? And there is. It's called squad levels. Once you get leveled 30, then you get to the squad levels, and then you can start adding in bonuses and stuff like that. It's just amazing. But the skills for every character complement the type of character that they are. Like King Shark, he has a lot of skills that are either melee based or just make him like very heavy as a tank. Now, mind you, I'm gonna have to go back and forth between looking at the video that I made that allows me to see the skill tree, because Harley, she has a matter of fact, let me just continue with Deadshot's tree. Yo, Gargiel, it's good to see you, man. I'm happy right now, not just because I'm, working and doing this for all of you, but also because the devs gave me a shout out for a question, and they also got me a legend of the server. So it's like, I'm kind of feeling good right now. But Deadshot has a lot of good skills. At 20 times combo and higher, critical hits regenerate shields. That's cool. Because if you play your cards right and build Deadshot in a certain way, you can have high levels of critical chance and critical hits. And if you're just accurate with your headshots, then you're always regenerating skills. Demo time? Oh yeah, I know, Gachiel. I already got it downloaded. If I'm not too long with me talking about the alpha, then I'll definitely play the Grand Blue Fantasy Relink demo. I'll probably play the story mode first, and then I'll play the multiplayer mode with you. But going through his skills, he has a lot of skills that, they want you to be accurate and do critical damage with Deadshot, because a lot of his skills are centered around critical damage. Matter of fact, it'd probably be best if I do this video in slow motion so I can go through each one of his skills. Yes, that's actually smarter. Yes. So, I already explained about Sniper, Assault Specialist, Pistol Specialist. Critical hit chance with pistols is increased by 25%. It's not like 2%, but 25%. Lethal Flow. Critical hits have a 100% chance to generate one additional combo. Increases critical hit chance by 20. That's Ultra Impact. In the red, increases critical hit damage by 20% while below 50% shields. So there's even more skills that are centered around criticals. Increases grenade ammo capacity, increases critical hit damage by 50%, not 5%, not 10%, but full on 50. At 20 combo and higher, critical hits reduce jetpack heat buildup by 10%, which is going to be useful because it also complements his fly like a bullet skill tree, where there's a lot of skills that are dedicated to keeping you airborne and also increasing damage the longer you are airborne. Who's my favorite character? Deadshot. Absolutely Deadshot. When I was playing Deadshot during the alpha, I found that I just couldn't, it was very hard for me to play anyone else because, sure, there's a bit of a learning curve for a certain degree of characters in the game. But I always found myself going right back to Deadshot. Even when I maxed out his level in the alpha, which is 15 for the alpha, I kept going back to him because his playstyle was just singing to me. It resonated with me so much. I like to be accurate. I don't like to miss. Gajo will tell you he counts every bullets that I do. But playing as Deadshot was incredibly fun It took some getting used to being in the air all the time because I'm not used to doing that with a lot of characters in other games. Sure, I played Iron Man, but it was like, it kind of gets tiresome when you shoot with Iron Man in a game like Marvel's Avengers and you run out of juice to shoot. Like, you run out of battery to fire. But here it's all like, as long as I got bullets, I'm killing. So playing Deadshot just felt so good to play. And every chance I got, I was playing Deadshot. Sure, I switched to other characters. I messed with King Shark. I like jumping around like him. I like jumping around with him. But Deadshot just felt so right. Flying in the air, aiming for the legs, triggering a shield harvest, getting more combos, which then procced more kill skills, which just made me just mow down multiple people. And you have no idea just how fun this combat can be when you pull off 3 shield harvests in a row. Like, shield harvest is basically just insta-killing an enemy and then gaining shields. But try doing that 3 times in a row. You trigger that and you're just like, brr, beep, brr, beep, brr, beep. They're just like, it's satisfying. Playing as Deadshot is satisfying. They just confirmed that there will be free roam, that Waller gives you access to the whole of Metropolis. I figured as much. It's not like you're going to need to be in a mission every single time permanently and you can't explore. I imagine Waller, would give them free reign over the city, but you just can't leave the bounds or she kills you. Kind of puts those bombs in you next to use. But so I'm not surprised that they said there would be free roam just out there. I mean, it's to be expected. But playing as Deadshot just felt so fun. And when I was playing with Gajiel, mind you, Gajiel was in the middle of a session and I kind of intruded. I'm sorry, but I'm still sorry about that. I kind of intruded in his session because the game has drop-in, drop-out co-op. You don't need to set up a lobby. You don't need to invite people. You can just see your friends who are playing and you can just drop right in if they have it open to friends. You can just drop in and you can just drop out wherever they are. That level of freedom for joining and not joining your people is so good. Because it means it's all like, hey, I'm just going to be in here for a couple of minutes and then I got to dip. And it's not like, oh, we both have to get to a safe place in order for us to save our data and stuff like that. It's all like, no, when you leave, you leave. It's like this Deadshot kind of like, let me see, like AC or Iron Man. Don't know who it is. Okay, so the thing about Deadshot is he's just a regular man, but he also has perfect aim. He's like I said, he's known as the man who never misses. He's an incredibly dangerous villain who also works as a mercenary because, when you're a man who never misses, you can be very good at mercenary work. So he's pretty much a Batman villain. But the reason why I keep talking about him flying and everything is he's not originally a person who uses a jetpack. This version of Deadshot uses a jetpack because, it'll help him get around the city, along with Harley Quinn gaining access to Batman's bat drone. King Shark, being this demigod, allows him to jump high distances like he's Hulk, and then Boomerang getting access to a Speed Force gauntlet that allows him to move at the same speed as the Flash. So for Deadshot, him having a jetpack is a bit of a first for him. So, but it's more in line with, I wouldn't say it's like Iron Man with like perfect flight and everything. It's kind of rickety for him because the jetpack, it wasn't actually built for him. It was actually built for a dude half his size named Gizmo. If you are a fan of the old school Teen Titans TV show, you know that Gizmo is a little bald-headed dude that is a little bald-headed dude who's also a part of this group called the Hive Five, if you will. And he's their mechanic, he's their inventor, and he's a short dude, like really short, like diminutive even. So the jetpack's meant for him. So for Deadshot, it's like it's for lore reasons and gameplay reasons. There's a reason why you can't stay in the air too long with Deadshot, because the jetpack is not meant for someone his size. So it's literally when you start running out of juice for the jetpack, it's because your body's too heavy for the jetpack and it's got to like recharge. It's kind of like that. But let me see. There will be side missions, enemies patrolling the city, iconic Metropolis, landmarks, and plenty of hidden and not so hidden Easter eggs for you to find. That doesn't surprise me. There's so many details that you could find in Gotham Knight. I mean, not Gotham Knight, Arkham Knight. Gotham Knight didn't have detail. But Arkham Knight had a bunch of different details, like referencing Queen Industries, Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, mentioning the thugs walking through the city, talking about, like, just hope that freak from Metropolis doesn't show up, referencing Superman. There's a voicemail from Lex Luthor in Bruce's office. There's so many different details that Rocksteady is very good at for their game that I can't wait to experience once we actually start playing Kill the Justice League in a couple of weeks for us Deluxe Edition owners. But going back to the game, combat feels good. Weapons feel good. Weapons feel good. Haha, poor Gotham Knights. Gajil, I corrected myself. I said Arkham Knight had detail. Not Gotham Knight. Arkham Knight. I corrected myself. I caught myself. But Gotham Knights could drown and burn in flames. Look, I haven't even finished Gotham Knights because I couldn't stand it anymore. And after playing Kill the Justice League, I don't think there's any way I can go back to playing Gotham Knights and finish the game without feeling like, so this is what slow feels like. Because that's the type of game where it's like, slow and methodical is taken way too seriously. But the combat, the enemies, because that's what you're going to be fighting. Sounds fun. This juicy game or censored? It's juicy. There will be body parts exploding. It is gory. It is rated M. Kitty, there will be violence. There will be gore. There will be blood. You will be sated. You will be sated with gore and violence. Gotham Knights was a waste of $70. I got it on sale when it was $20, and I still feel like I could have put that towards some better things. I could have gotten two 5-layer beef burritos from Taco Bell over Gotham Knights, and my experience would have been far better. But, you know, it's not on my system. It's not eating up space. But yes, Kitty, there will be lots and lots of violence. Trust me. It will be a game where the blood will fly every single time I play. So, yeah. But the enemies you're going to be fighting, from the lore reasons, you're not going to see a ton of civilians in the city because going off of the lore, Brainiac has pretty much either enslaved. Ignoring the leaks, who would be my most wanted DLC character in the game? Well, so here's the thing, Starvel. I haven't seen any leaks, nor do I want to. I don't want to know anything about the game. I want the game to tell me, because then I can give you guys the best reaction possible once I'm playing through these different moments. I have no idea what's going to happen in the game, and I find that fantastic, because then we get to enjoy these moments together. But what would be my most wanted DLC character in the game? Yours is Kite Man, mine's is Deathstroke. Don't confirm or deny if he's in the listings or anything, but that's the character I want. I want this man to be able to redeem himself. I want this man to redeem himself from being turned into a tank battle in Arkham Knight. And the only time you will see Batman actually fight Deathstroke is when he tries to jump out of the tank and Batman just one-shots him. An individual whose boss fight in Arkham Origins was a real test for me when I went through it the first time. And then he got kind of downgraded to a tank battle. And I understand people's reservations about the Batmobile itself and why and how it felt like it was used too much. But for Deathstroke, he should have been like his own flat-out boss battle. He should have been just Deathstroke right then and there. He should have been like a boss battle by himself without the tank. But hopefully, if he was to be added as a DLC character, I would love to play as the world's deadliest assassin. Because the name Deathstroke carries a lot of weight in DC Comics. Katana melee, wingsuit traversal, rifles, snipers, and pistols. Yeah. Here's the thing. Deadshot's specialty is rifles, snipers, and pistols already. So, my thing is, I wonder what they're going to do for additional characters in the series different characters within this game to make everyone truly feel unique. Now, mind you, that's not going to be a hard thing because King Shark doesn't feel like Deadshot, Deadshot doesn't feel like Harley, Harley doesn't feel like Boomer. Even though they all use guns, they all still feel different. Now, let me address something else because people like to bring it up, even though it's a tired old thing for people to bring up. The purple weak point thing. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. It's not a big deal. I honestly feel like people pointing out purple weak points every time they see it on screens are like, oh, purple weak point. Purple weak point. Oh no, purple weak point. But it's not that big a deal. It's not a big deal. Like, what are people shooting at when they're playing Destiny? When they're going up against a raid boss? Are they just shooting at the body, or are they aiming for the spot that they know is the weak point itself, even though it doesn't visibly show? It's not that big of a deal. The enemies you're fighting, you get a bunch of them. They can be shooting from all over the screen, and I find that good because it keeps up with you remember in the previous Batman games where the game was not afraid to throw hordes of enemies at you, fighting hand-to-hand with Batman. And it would happen multiple times. And not just across, like, for Batman. It would be for any other character you're playing. Catwoman, Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, anyone else you were playing as. The game was not afraid to throw a ton of characters at you. Rocksteady is still following that same philosophy, even during the alpha, where a bunch of enemies can be aiming at you. And the thing about it is, they like to stay moving. They're not just going to be in the streets and you're just shooting at them. They're going to find the nearest rooftop to get the drop on you. They're going to jump up on a rooftop, throw up a shield so you can't fire back. You got to wait for either the shield to open up so you can hit its weak point and destroy the shield completely, or get vertical and flank them. These are not enemies who are just going to stand in the street and just try and gun you down. No, they're going to find different points and vantage points to take aim at you. And you got to watch out for a couple of them. Sniper characters? Yeah, those can get on your nerves if you ain't careful. Because they teleport away from you if you try to get close. You got to use your critical counters. You got to use your gun counters in order to keep them from firing on you. So you can get close and either use a shield harvest and insta-kill them, or just straight up gun them down before their gun cools down and they come out of that stun status and they teleport away. And the thing is, they don't teleport close to other spots. They are sniper characters and they like to stay far. So sometimes I would find myself fighting a group of enemies, and one of them would be a sniper. And as soon as the fighting starts, the sniper takes position. So you got to make sure you find that sniper first. I love how dynamic the enemies behave. Roblox, good to see you. I love how dynamic the enemies behave in the game, because I'll be firing on these enemies and I'll be all like, "Where's the sniper?" And then you could see this shine, this alert shine of when a sniper's about to hit you. And the thing is, the window for you to counter this sniper before he shoots you, it's small. It's not ridiculously small where you need to be within the fraction of a millisecond, but it's small enough where you need to be fast. Otherwise, you are going to get shot. So I made it a priority to take out every single sniper I found, because they would make things trickier. And they don't stay in one place and snipe you. They teleport to a different place. They pick a new vantage point. And if you try to run up on them before you counter them, they just teleport away, go to a higher spot. I was on the ground in one section of the map, and a sniper saw me. He saw me, and he was all like, "Oh, I see him." And he just went up top, and he immediately started aiming down on me. And I tried to get close. I told myself, he's going to teleport away. Don't try to get close. But you ever had one of those hard-headed moments where you're just thinking, like, maybe if I get to him real quick and he can't do nothing? I did that. He teleported away, and I could not find him. Turns out there was this very, very, very tall building that I never thought you could. Can you snipe? Yes, there's sniper rifles in the game. I actually got a legendary sniper rifle as a drop from, I think, a mission. It wasn't from an enemy, but I got it from a mission. It's called Yes, but you can snipe. There's a lot of aiming down the sights. The legendary sniper rifle that I got and is called the Amertek. It's from the Amertek brand. It's a sniper rifle called the Final Round. And I got to talk about the weapon upgrades and stuff because we didn't have access to it in the alpha, but the insider has shown me that what I thought I could do with weapons hasn't even scratched the surface. But this is a legendary sniper rifle called the Final Round. From Amertek, improvised military-grade weaponry, hard-hitting, controlled spread weapons. Just be careful of the recoil. And the special ability of this legendary gun is counter bullets deplete your shields 5 times more than usual, but successful counters spawn shield pickups. Successful critical counters give 2 times more. So, when this game come out, it comes out on February 2nd. But for us who have bought the deluxe edition, we get to play it on January 30th, which is why I was saying, like, in a couple of weeks, I can't wait to mess with it. So, I got to talk about the gear system. The gear system does not bother me because I've played tons and tons of games that tried this whole thing and they felt counterintuitive or they even felt cumbersome. The closest thing I can attribute and put comparison to for this gear system is Borderlands. This whole gear system setup just screams Borderlands to me. And that's a good thing because Borderlands had some good gear setups and the UI. I know how some people felt about the UI when we first saw it, especially when that first leaked image of Boomerang and we saw all those different tabs up top and everyone decided, this is going to be the worst thing ever. And I'm just thinking, I want to know more. Tell me more. But going through the menus, it's not bad. It's fine. It's fine. It's not intrusive in the eyes. It's not like, oh, there's so many things in front of my face. It's not like I'm looking at the menus of Armored Core, where I'm looking, and I'm not knocking Armored Core, don't worry, because Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, fantastic game. But it's not like you're going to be looking through the menus of Armored Core and there's going to be each individual stat that just takes up your entire screen when you're looking at your gear and stuff. It like shows you what you have, and you can shoot. You could just it's so much like Borderlands in terms of how you set up your gear and how the gear is laid out. It's so similar to that, and that's a good thing because I had no problems with it when I was playing Borderlands. Now, mind you, it's been a number of years since I've seen gameplay of Sunset Overdrive, so I can't remember how they set that up. But I gotta look that up to see if there's any similarities between that as well. But, gonna have to try it out, playing RoboCop now. It's good, isn't it? RoboCop's good, isn't it? And you know what's funny? RoboCop decides to announce, hey, we're gonna do New Game Plus. Right after I use RoboCop to go towards... traded it over so I could get Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I'll get RoboCop again later, but yeah, they would announce that the day after I had traded it in already, so yeah. But the gear system is fine, and I'm so glad it's not like Destiny where you can have only one legendary on one side and one legendary on another, or an exotic on one side and an exotic on the other, and then you can only have those two and then everything else has to be purple or whatever. I'm glad that I can eventually deck out my entire person with legendary gear, and I can just build them that way. Gear itself, they drop like they would straight out of Borderlands. The enemies drop weapons. Even more so than Marvel's Avengers. See, Marvel's Avengers will have stuff drop periodically, but then it started to feel less and less, and the only way you can get stuff to drop is if you opened up chests. No, enemies will drop stuff. Now, I didn't get like a legendary to drop for me. Actually, you know what? I'm trying to remember. I wondered if during my gameplay I had that sniper rifle actually drop for me. I don't think I got it as an actual mission reward. I think I may have had it drop. But gear drops, and for me, there were occasions where I would have to periodically clear out my inventory space because it can get filled up with weapons and stuff. And one thing I would like for them to do, if I have to say one thing that I wish they could possibly do and look into in the future, is if they add an option to where you automatically dismantle certain gear pieces of a certain variety. or a certain rarity or a certain level, I think it would benefit a lot of players a lot more if they were picking up stuff that is weaker than what they have. Then that stuff gets automatically dismantled, and you can choose the tiers or choose the options. Like, hey, if it's legendary, even if it's low, I want to hold on to this legendary, and options like that. I'll probably bring it to their attention and see about it later. But that's just one thing I think would work very well in the long run, because it will be a lot less of people going into their menu, going down their items piece by piece, and then they can just set the criteria of what can be dismantled as soon as you pick it up versus what can't. So that's something I would like for them to look into. Once again, I'll bring it to their attention. Playing through the game long periods of time, I have to say I didn't feel like I was wasting any bit of time, because my family can tell you, and mind you, they weren't in the room when I was doing my testing. I spent a lot of time playing, but there wasn't a single moment where I thought I was wasting my time. I mean, even if I wasn't in the middle of a mission, I went out of my way to look for enemies just to beat up, just because. Just to gun them down, just because that's what I wanted to do. And there's always enemies. There's always tanks rolling around. Tanks are very good if you want to get some major levels. Helicopters are good as well. Riddler trophies, I feel maybe trickier for me to find because the buildings are so diverse. See, the difference between Gotham and Metropolis is just chock full of buildings that all look unique. It's not like Gotham where you get like, oh, these old-timey Victorian-style buildings, and then you have this one pristine building from LexCorp or Oliver or Queen Industries, and it looks like that. No, almost every single building in Metropolis could be its own unique building, which means pinpointing one specific building for a Riddler challenge will be trickier because Metropolis is far more vibrant and far more diverse in its building makeup. I literally had some trouble looking for some Riddler trophies, and I was thinking, what is this towards? What is this? And there were some where I was in the vicinity, and I'm looking at every single building, and I'm like, every building is different! I can't tell what this trophy is for! And I think that's actually good, because with so many buildings being so diverse, you actually have to refine your eye in order to pinpoint what this challenge is talking about. And there's some challenges are obvious, but some other ones are going to be trickier just because of the way buildings are in Metropolis. Like there wasn't a single building where it looked like it was just plain. Every building looked like more than ordinary. More than that. It's LexCorp. Not that specific building. I'm talking about like Riddler challenges just in general. Like there was this one talking about things of gold and things of silver, and I'm like, okay, what building is that? Not saying that it's gonna make challenges impossible, but now you got to have a far keener eye than you did in the previous Batman games in order to figure out Riddler challenges. So that was something. And there's also a thing called Riddler races, where you can do races across the city for the Riddler. And I found that using Deadshot was probably the best because of his verticality and, being able to fly around with him. And I found it was best to use him for that. But these Riddler challenges are probably going to eat up so much of my time of me trying to find it. What else? Playing with people. I played with Gajiel. Me and Gajiel, we played for a significant amount of time together. Outside of me intruding into his game at one point because he was trying to get footage for himself. Me and Gajiel's time, there was synergy between us playing. Not saying like, hey, you'll have more fun if you play with friends. I mean, sure, that's obvious of any game. But playing with Gajiel, my Deadshot with his boomerang, and it was like, these two characters are compatible with each other. Like Gajiel can tell you, and he said it during yesterday's stream when I was playing the One Piece pack. Boomerang synergizes so well with Deadshot. Like with Boomerang, Hold on. Chats aren't showing up. Have you been muted? No, you shouldn't have. You haven't done anything. All your regular chat stuff. If you were muted, Starvel, then it would not show you up in chat. It would say like your messages have been muted or you've been timed out or whatever. So no, you have not. No one's done anything. So I don't know what to tell you, but we haven't done anything. But playing with Godjiel, Boomerang is his guy. Moving around at high speeds, he's fast. When it comes to scaling buildings, he just teleports up to it. Everyone's traversal is great and all, but Boomerang and Deadshot's traversal, it's like, okay, one dude can fly and another dude can just throw his boomerang, and he just uses his super speed to get up to that point. So for Godjiel, traveling with Boomerang, I play Boomerang, while I think his... they trees checking the answer chat in Discord. Wait, what? What? Hold on, let me see. I want to read out some of these answers that they put out there as well, because there's a lot. There's a lot of questions being answered, and I want to go through it so you guys can get like a good idea of what type of questions are being answered. Can I give you it now? Roblox, what are you talking about? But playing with like I don't know what you're talking about, Roblox. But Boomerang and Deadshot, playing with those two characters together. There was a lot of craziness. And another thing to point out is that this game will encourage you to dog your friends. It will encourage you to clown your friends, because when you are playing in a mission with some people, and it will let you know, hey, you need to pick up the pace. Hey, this person got more headshots than you. There are lots of room for bragging. There's a lot of room for, elbowing your brothers in the sides and everything. There's a lot of moments for that. And another thing that carries it is that when whoever does the best when it comes to mission, then they'll be made the mission leader. Like, they'll have like a little icon over their name letting them know like, hey, this person is in charge of the mission now, and missions will be given to that person, and that person will have dialogue for that mission. So one thing I've noticed is that depending on who does the best during a mission with people in co-op, then dialogue will change so that person starts speaking up more, since they've been made leader for the next mission. And they'll be doing all these different dialogues and saying all these different things. I was asked what I'm talking about when they tease in Discord after the Q&A. Please don't delete my chats. Godjiel, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll just avoid that section for now. Even if it's a teaser, I'll avoid it. But Starvel, he's fine. Starvel is fine. And it's Starvel from earlier. He is just that he's on another account. So don't worry about it. He's fine. Don't worry about it. Because he already said he's not going to spoil anything and he'll never mention them. It was just something that something that the devs have brought up in the Q&A. This is what they publicly said out there. This is what they've publicly said. So I'm going to go through it and I'll be careful, but so it's all good. But playing with people is incredibly fun, and I can't wait to see what it's like to play with a full squad of people, like a full squad, not just AI, but a full squad. Got a dip. Catch you guys later. Kitty, thank you for stopping by. I always enjoy your company. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you the next time. But I want to see, but one thing that was pointed out, you streaming again today? Yes, more than likely I'm probably going to stream again a little later when I am playing the Granblue Fantasy Relink demo. I'll make a schedule for it, so you guys will be able to tune in a little bit later if you want. But another thing I was pointing out, So they gave us a little teaser image of endgame content. I think it's season 1. I'll get to it because I need to speak more about the game as a whole, how it feels, how it plays, and why I feel like a lot of articles that have gone out of their way to say they're still skeptical, which I can't fully understand, because if I played the alpha and that pretty much confirmed everything I was concerned about, or denied everything I was concerned about, and it actually gave me, hope for what I was going to be looking forward to in the game. And if I were to give like a big review of the alpha, I thought it was a solid, I thought it was like a 8 towards 9. Twitter loved the answer to your question and the reveal of a Paragon system. Really? They liked my answer. My name is getting out there. Soon the world shall know of Kyushu 92. They're not going to take me seriously if I do that. But wow, that's interesting to know. But my overall feel for the game is like, this is going to be a game that I play. Because the grand scope of what I'm going to be playing this year, just outside of Kill the Justice League, are going to be games that are built for longevity. Like Relink and Dragon's Dogma 2 and Black Myth Wukong. There's a lot of things coming out this year that proving the legendary status even more. Well, I'm nothing but humbled to accept that status. But this game looks like it's going to keep me occupied for a very long time. And since I have such strong Borderlands vibes from it, I know I'm going to be spending a lot of time with it. People have already written it off. Hey, that's you. I'm not going to bash you for you not liking it. Just don't intrude on my enjoyment of it, because we're in a state right now where people are relying more on the opinions of others so that they can make their own decisions rather than them making the decisions for themselves. So I honestly feel that I don't have time to look at everyone who's all like, oh, this is gonna suck. Oh, I can't stand this. Oh, these articles for Kill the Justice League are brutal. Things that can generate a ton of views and a ton of likes in a short amount of time, because that's how drama on the internet works. For me, I feel like it's only important that my opinion on how I feel about it. And what I feel from the alpha is that this is definitely going to be a game that I cannot wait to have in my house, where I get to play it with my friends or by myself on occasion. Well, by myself or with my friends on occasion, because I like to play games by myself a great deal of the time. But from everything that I've seen from just the alpha, and mind you, that's an early build of the game. It's not even the finished product. That's an early build of the game. From what I played from the alpha, it just told me that, yes, I have absolutely no problem dropping that 100 on the deluxe edition, because that's just how much it impressed me. That's just how much it impressed me. And mind you, most of my time was just playing one character. There's still 3 other characters that you get to play. Harley and her melee-based stuff. We got King Shark, him being a tank, Boomerang, and a lot of stuff that centers around him and the Speed Force and whatnot. And then you got to think about all the extra stuff they're going to be adding. They're going to be adding more content. They're going to be adding more characters, more weapons, more missions. Things straight out of the gate that I know Rocksteady is going to deliver on. See, Crystal Dynamics was shaky at best, because it was a bunch of people saying how much they like comics, but you never really got that feel in the game, like in the true sense of the word. It was more so like, let's just pump out these characters and pump out these clones, and then we'll just let it ride. But there's only so much you can do with that sort of thought process before it gets tiresome, and people want you to do better. So I feel like Rocksteady is going to do better than what Crystal Dynamics did. Yes, you can put me on record for saying that. I honestly feel like Rocksteady is going to do a far better job than what Crystal Dynamics tried to do with Avengers. And that this game is going to be far better than people have spent so much time editing and making videos telling everyone else that it's going to be horrible. Because there's so many people who, instead of moving on and doing something else, continuously make videos about a game that they probably will still play, because they want to hate play it. Like people hate watch Velma, and now Velma was like the biggest rated cartoon on HBO Max. So that sort of thing happens. But my time with the alpha is I enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to play it. I can't wait to have an entire, because I'm going to be doing like a whole playthrough from beginning all the way to the end of the story, and then there's going to be many streams where I'm going to be playing through the game and everything. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to have this series on my channel. I can't wait to have sessions where it's me and Gajeel or some other people and we're playing, and you guys get to see what it's like to play it with like a full crowd. I'm going to go through every single skill. You know me. For those of you who know me, I like to get like the best weapons in games. That's what I like to strive after. And I know there's things in the game that even I still don't know about that I'll wait until the game comes out to find out myself. There's just so many things in the game that resonate with me and what I like in video games, that any negatives I felt about it, including the valid criticisms that people have voiced for the game, overall, the negatives are not enough for me to be all like, yeah, I'm not playing this. It's not there. It's not there. There are some things that make me wonder, like, let's see where it goes. But it's not to the point where it's like, I'm better off playing something else. It's not there. It's not there. This game is not that. It's not there. And that's just me personally. I could not care less if every single person on the internet says, like, this game is going to suck or whatever, which it isn't. I just know that for me personally, it is something I can see myself playing many days, weeks, months on end. I can see that. I can see that because these are the types of games I can see myself playing. Daily Plan is due for a makeover soon in our next Insider episode. Yes, the next Insider episode talking about post-game stuff. Hope you can hop in on the fun these next 18 days. Can't go by fast enough. IGN's preview was disgraceful. How can the Flash be too fast? Look, I didn't look at their article, nor did I watch their video. Because for me, the moment that you start chastising a game for being accurate, and then complain about all these things that no one else is having a problem with, I kind of don't want to take your consideration of an opinion if you're just going to be that biased to it. Now, mind you, I've listened to a ton of other people who have played it, people who were flown out like Caboose and Lajun and a whole bunch of other people, Triple G, so many other different people who played it, and sure, they had their criticisms. They're valid criticisms, and their concerns, things that they would definitely change. But at least they were still able to see just how much fun the game was, despite all those things. Whereas articles like that, they're all like, we played it and we don't like it. How many people played? Was it just one person? Or was it multiple people? And even here's the thing, just because IGN doesn't like something doesn't mean that you shouldn't like it. I know this may be a bitter pill for a lot of people to swallow, but just because the internet says they don't like something gaming-wise, let me be very specific here. Gaming-wise, just because the internet says, like, we didn't like this, but you do, you are not wrong for liking it. Just like I'm not wrong for saying I can't wait to play this game. You're not wrong. You're not wrong if you say you like it, but other people say, like, you're what's wrong with gaming, or good luck playing a failure of a game, or, oh, this is how Rocksteady's going to fall off. This is why the two heads left and stuff like that. You know, jumping the gun with assumptions, which the internet seems to value more than actual truth and fact. That's just how the internet is. I've learned to just look past it, because at the end of the day, I'm not playing these games for them. I'm playing these games for me. So my overall opinion with the alpha is that this is going to be a game that I know for a fact I'm going to have fun with, because it has everything that just keeps my attention as a gamer. I don't play many racing games. I don't play many fighting games. But RPGs, ARPGs, Muso games, games with skill trees and stuff like that, with elements tossed in there, that that has my attention. And good gameplay. At the end of the day, the most important thing is not whether or not you like this or not, but what the most important thing is, did you have fun? You know, a wise friend of mine has told that to me, and that's something that should be paramount to every single gamer in existence. Did you have fun? If you had fun with it, then that shouldn't even be a concern. Did you enjoy the Batman Museum in the alpha? It was my favorite mission. I made the mistake of playing with headphones with the volume turned up. I was not okay. Because, okay, so do I want to talk about it, or do I want to wait until the game actually comes out so you guys can experience it? I'll say that. I was terrified. It had me spooked. And now I understand. I understand the position of the thugs we hunted in the Arkham series. I understand it. I understand it. I completely understand it. But I won't go too further into it because I want you guys to experience it later once I play through the game itself. But I enjoyed it, but it scared me. It was me. You was that friend, I think. Yeah, Godjill. It was you. It was Godjill who said, like, at the end of the day, what truly matters is, did you have fun with the game? If you did, then that's all that matters. If you had fun, that's all that matters when it comes to a video game. And it doesn't matter what anyone else says. I feel like a whole bunch of people would benefit from having more fun with their games if they embrace that mentality. Did you have fun? If you did, who cares what anyone else thinks? But overall, my feelings towards the alpha is I cannot wait to play this game. I cannot wait. I've been looking forward to it for a very long time, especially during the period where we didn't have any information at all. And now we're getting a ton of information. The devs are being vocal with everybody. I cannot wait to play this game and see what Rocksteady does. And I know for a fact I'm going to be playing like that game's going to be on my shelf forever. I know it. I ain't shilling for Rocksteady because they don't even know who I am. They literally just like picked my question out, and you know, that's nice and all, but I'm not no one big to Rocksteady. I'm just some guy who likes what they do. I'm just some guy who likes the games that they make. But I will say that this game is going to be incredibly fun, and I know for a fact I'm going to have fun with it. That's not copium, that's not shilling, that's just me being honest. I know for a fact I'm going to have fun with it. But now, let's see what questions they were being asked, aside from my own, what was being asked inside of the questions. I'm going to skip over mine because I already talked about it. Let's see. Thanks for doing this, guys. So clearly movement will be a huge factor in the gameplay. What was the process like in balancing out each character so they feel different but not overpowered compared to others? Answer: not at all. We're hyped to be able to do this and speak directly to you all. You're absolutely right. Traversal is a huge part of our game, both in terms of gameplay and the squad personality. We wanted to give each squad member a traversal style that made them feel unique, powerful, and that made sense for their character. But more importantly, felt fun. They accomplished that. Moment to moment. This is always at the forefront of the decisions we make. Does just traversing through the world feel fun? Does this feel good in your hands? See, this is what I was talking about. Let me put this image off to the side so I can still see chat while I'm going through this. Does this feel good in your hands? For example, take King Shark. We knew early on that due to his size and weight, we really wanted this to come across in how he moved. When we started designing his moveset, we actually were using animal references, rhinoceros, elephants, to try and convey that sense of rampaging, destructive force that builds with momentum. We believe his traversal really captures that sense of animalistic power, and it really does, especially when you're holding down the button. They're holding down the button to do a super jump, and he just runs on all fours. He just goes full feral, and he starts running on all fours, and that makes his running speed even faster because it's a full-on four-legged, all-four sprint. Builds with momentum. We really believe his traversal really captures that sense of animalistic power. When you build up speed, smash through a group of enemies, then leap high into the air, and then come crashing down onto some other unsuspecting enemy, it just feels good. And it does, because I've jumped in the air high multiple times, only for me to do like a dive bomb straight towards this group of enemies. And his dive bomb attack, I think it's a Atlantean dive, or I forgot the exact name of it, where you just do a somersault and you just fall through the air. And as you level up and give them more skills, you can increase the range of which the impact is, so you can hit even more enemies. And it's actually quite damaging as well. Also, one thing I need to note is that there's difficulty levels that you can choose. Higher difficulty levels will just, obviously increase the difficulty, but also increase your resource gain as well. So you can gain more resources at higher resources and XP at higher difficulty levels. But if you want to chill and just have it either on normal, or you can even put it on story mode where you can just boot up a game. You're just playing with your friends. Let's go story mode today. Let's not work too hard. Let's just chill and relax, and you just mow down everyone on that difficulty. Or if you want to give yourself a challenge, there are multiple difficulty levels, so you can play at the level that is comfortable for you. Or Harley, who comes with an expectation of acrobatics and flowing movement. We wanted to add a twist to that with the bat drone and grapple gun as a unique form of movement, and either a grudging nod of respect to Batman from her or a middle finger depending on how you see it. Though practically this was done so we could give her a traversal mechanic that supported swinging and grappling without having to rely solely on having tall buildings or structures at all in order for Harley to get around. The ability to use the momentum from a grapple into a swing, into a dive, into an even faster swing, all without having to touch solid ground feels super satisfying when you pull it off. And in terms of balancing them all, gameplay-wise, we're in a really good place now where they all feel powerful and excel at different things, which in turn we hope will match players' own different styles and preferences. For example, Deadshot's ability to create vantage points in space by hovering makes sniping very effective. It is very effective. I've used it pretty much every single combat encounter. I'm always airborne. Whereas Boomer's instant dash makes him perfect for smash and grab style tactics, where he can get in, smash, and then get out. A lot of hit and run. Being able to seamlessly blend between traversal and combat, moment to moment, and making this feel impactful was always at the forefront of our decisions. One of the more challenging sides, however, is managing the speeds of the characters and how they work not only with each other, but the game itself. Harley, for the longest time, just wouldn't get in line with the rest. Very much on brand, as always. Having a very deep traversal system, she has a lot of room for skill expression in the hands of an experienced player. Unfortunately, the skill they wish to express with swinging so fast, they break the game. Balancing this so all the characters are in line with each other for launch and year one, whilst also for launch and year one. Specifically saying for launch in year one. So are they talking about maybe improving traversal in year two? I don't know. Maybe. Whilst also making them all feel fun has been challenging, but feel they are all in a really good place. Even across the dev team, everyone has a different favorite character and alt to use, which I feel really speaks to the work we've done to keep them all balanced. It's an ongoing debate as to who is the best, which is ridiculous, as it's obviously King Shark. No way, Harley for sure, you just don't have the skills, Johnny, and it has the devs just going back and forth with each other. Johnny needs to up his traversal game, but Deadshot is clearly the best, creating your own vantage points and sniping from above after afterburning into ground slides and looking awesome while doing it. Come on, not even a contest. They're just going back and forth with each other right here. So, next question. Can you swap characters at any time in the game? Can you swap both in co-op and single player? Are skill tree points shared between characters if you swap them? If you have a skill point and use it on a character, is it still available for the other characters if you can swap them? Obviously, no. You leveling up with Deadshot is not going to give you a free point for Harley. Because, yeah, all squad members have separate level ups. They all have separate level ups that's, apart from each other. So if I'm playing Deadshot and I haven't played Harley in a minute, Harley's not going to level up. Like I said, reminds me of Borderlands. If I was playing Amara in Borderlands 3, what is his name? Zane would not be leveled up alongside me. So it doesn't work that way. It's not like Gotham Knights, where characters level up with you. You gotta spend time with those characters to level them up to in Suicide Squad. And Ian responds, one of the devs, you can swap to a different squad member at any time you're out of combat. In a 2-player session, you each have a bot character that you can switch to. In a 3-player session, the session owner gets the honor of having an additional bot character they can switch to. When you're in a 4-player co-op session, you will have to travel to the Hall of Justice to switch. So you can only, if you're in a 4-player squad, you will have to travel to the Hall of Justice to switch. You can also change your whole squad lineup no matter the number of players when you are in the Hall of Justice. If you are playing single player, we also have our Psyched Up feature, where a certain squad member will be psyched up for specific missions. For example, Boomerang has a history with Penguin, and when you recruit him for Waller, he's psyched up to get to see Pengo again. Of course, Penguin doesn't remember him at all. If you play the mission as a psyched up character, that character does extra damage and takes less damage, and will also gain a massive XP boost from the mission. This is how I started switching between characters in the alpha. Certain missions called for a psyched up character, so it encouraged me to play those characters. Because they gain bonuses. Like, you could play all these missions as just one singular character, but there are benefits to playing certain missions as a certain character that wants to take part in it. That's, psyched up to go to take care of that mission. Let me see. If you play the mission as a psyched up character, yada yada, this is a great way to quickly level up different squad members and get a taste of how they all play, which is how I got used to Harley's gameplay and Boomer's gameplay, but not to the degree of Deadshot and King Shark. Without worrying about any single squad member falling too far behind. Each time a character levels up, you get 1 skill point to spend on that character's talent tree, just like I said. All squad members have separate XP, levels, and talent trees because we didn't want you to have to constantly manage each character's talent tree as soon as you switch to them because they have points left to spend. However, as mentioned earlier, past level 30 when you unlock the squad talents, those are shared between all squad members. Alessio, good to see you. I'm just talking about Kill the Justice League, my time in the alpha, and going through some of the questions that some of the devs are answering in the Discord right now. And there's a lot that's been going on since 12:35. There's 54 messages. I'm not going to go through them all. So we have one talking about free roam. There will be free roam after Amanda Waller has given you permission to carry out your mission. The squad has access to the entirety of Metropolis. Once the shackles are off or on, not sure where I'm gone now with this analogy, shackles off, but brain bombs in, that's it. You can choose to explore the city however you wish. There will be side missions, enemies patrolling the city, iconic Metropolis landmarks, and plenty of hidden and not so hidden Easter eggs for you to find. We really want players to be able to just enjoy banging around Metropolis causing havoc. Ah, my kind of place. Whether you choose to do anything productive or not is up to you. There will also be plenty of collectibles. The Riddler has made his way to Metropolis. He's upset that he wasn't recruited for this mission and wants to prove his superior intellect. He is testing the squad both physically and mentally. He set up AR courses to test your prowess in traversal. If you get around the course quick enough, you'll wind up Riddler and also be rewarded with some free outfits pieces for the squad members. I unlocked a couple myself. Lucas, good to see you. Riddles are also back to test your mental skills and your knowledge of the DC universe. And there are trophies. It wouldn't be an Arkhamverse game without some Riddler trophies. Yep. Let me see. Will we see the environment change as the seasons progress? Most definitely. This is something we knew we wanted to do from the start, to be able to keep Metropolis evolving along with our players. And seeing how Brainiac has the ability to phase in portions of other worlds... That sentence tapers off there at the end. Interesting. Metropolis is a constantly shifting battlefield, and as your battle with Brainiac and the Justice League progresses, you can expect the city to change along with it. Not only across the duration of the story, but post-launch as well. Yes. This was very important for us in the dev team, to be able to create a city which players could experience, enjoy, learn all the best routes through, and then be able to switch things up on them. So you'll have to make sure you get your bearings, as what you were previously using to navigate by may not be there next time. Oh, so don't get used to your favorite spots because it may not be that same favorite spot later on in the future. Okay, all right. A dynamic city as times progress. I like that. Let's see. Is it true that my squad of friends can select my character when I'm not playing, I'm at work or something, and if my squad takes my character with them, I can also get mission, loot, and experience points? So, to rectify this question, it doesn't work like that. If anything, it's even better, as you're not just limited to friends, and that person can also be online when you get their characters into your squad. We call this feature Social Squad. Can you join my Discord? I mean, yes, if it's in the description, you can. I don't have it like limited to like members only or something like that, but you can join. Just make sure you pay attention to the rules when you come in there. Because some people like to disregard them, and I would much prefer not to remove people because they disregard the rules. You follow the rules, you're good. We call this feature Social Squad with Yoma Yome. Is that an I or an L? I know exactly what you were trying to do. Knew exactly what you were trying to do. This ain't the first time this has happened. Probably won't be the last. But you won't be here doing that. Now, back to what we were doing. We call this feature Social Squad. With Social Squad, if you're playing alone and you're not planning on playing certain members of the squad, you can replace those squad members with those of other players. And as we mentioned before, they don't need to be your friends. If you want, you can go to the leaderboards and find the best players in the world and get their characters into your squad, or maybe you have a favorite. Maybe you have a favorite streamer and want their characters in your squad. Social Squad teammates will keep all of the gear, cosmetics, and talents that their original owners have equipped, just as if you have joined them in a co-op session. It's a really interesting way of getting that feeling of playing with others, even though you're just chilling in a solo session. So that is cool. That's cool. Let me see. The original owners also get a kickback if their character are used in someone else's squad. When they next jump in game, they will receive a small portion of the resources and loot you've earned while playing. This is separate from the rewards you earn for yourself, so it doesn't take away from the loot you've earned while playing. So that's cool. You get to bring in other people's squad characters to your own squad, and even if you're playing single player, you can bring in other people's people with you, and then they can earn like a small amount of rewards that they can bring back to, the original player. This reminds me of the pawn system from the Dragon's Dogma game, because though you cannot play co-op in that game, you can in Dragon's Dogma Online, which is a Japanese exclusive game, but you can call in people's pawns from other players, travel with them, they gain experience, and sometimes you can gift these pawns with things that you can give back to the original players. They go back, not only do those pawns get experience, but they can also have items and rewards and stuff as well. And also, if you were playing like the Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, you can get like Bitter Black Isle gear pieces as well. A lot of stuff you can do that Dragon's Dogma did very well. Even though you can't play with another person, you can play with their companions, and their companions can go back to their original owners with stuff. So that's cool. All right, so now for our last question, we have a big one. What will Endgame be like? Yep, this is because once we get done with the story, the big question is, what else are we going to do at the end? That's the big question. What are we going to be doing at the end? I love this question. because Endgame is one of the things I'm most excited about to share with you all. But I'm also worried that I'm going to get tackled by our community team for writing an essay on this topic, so I'll try to break it down into smaller segments. Hold on, let me put my window back up here again. There we go. After you've completed the main story, Endgame is a huge, constantly evolving and challenging experience for you to put your skills to the test. Our core philosophy for Endgame was essentially mastery. Mastery of your character, traversal, talents, enemy types, mission mechanics, and of course, your choice of build. And as the difficulty increases, you will have to find new builds to overcome the challenge. That's why we have 3 distinct tiers of infamy sets in Endgame, all themed around an iconic DC character. For launch, that character is Bane, and his infamy sets are all themed around different ways of dominating your enemies and harnessing the chaos around you. We have a somewhat chaotic game. Really? With a constantly changing, it's fun chaos though. We have a somewhat chaotic game with a constantly changing battlefield with lots of things going on. The game is frantic and fast-paced, and we've purposefully made it to feel like the squad is always surrounded and in the middle of chaos. And mastery of the game comes from you harnessing that chaos and using it as one of your strengths, turning the very thing Brainiac is throwing at you right back at him. Ian and Johnny, stop rolling your eyes. That's a totally awesome boomerang pun. Let me see. Will I be buying and reacting to the prequel comics when they release? I don't know if I'm going to do reactions to the comics. I'll read them, but I probably won't do reactions to them. I'll more than likely bring it up during like one of my sessions with the game, but I probably won't, like go out and buy them and react to them like at that time. But we'll see. Things can change in the next couple of weeks. Who knows? Because our game is chaotic and because we wanted our endgame to lean into build construction, we as well as masteries of mechanics, we've made our endgame revolve around a core backbone of mission types that provide a more predictable experience and challenge. But that doesn't mean that Brainiac is just going to sit back and let you go head-to-head with his forces without throwing a spanner in the works, or that you know what's going to happen in each mission. Brainiac keeps evolving his forces throughout Endgame, and you'll have to adapt your builds to match this. There will be several types of missions, from the snappier incursion missions, where the poor squad is sent into Brainiac's domain under the protection of a very fickle Prometheum shield that protects you from the Skull Ship's tentacles as well as the full force of Brainiac's army. The squad have to fight their way through Brainiac's forces, often with the help of the support squad, to make it back to Metropolis. But once the mission is completed, the Prometheum shield goes down, so the squad has to leg it. Waller's really not doing the squad any favors here, and she seems intent on emphasizing the suicide and suicide mission. Then we have the more grand Killing Time mission, where the squad is battling an increasingly frantic horde of Brainiac's enemies. That appeals to me. I love horde modes. And they have to keep killing enemies to fuel the Prometheum shield, because once it goes down, there's no hiding from the Skull Ship's tentacles. As the difficulty goes up, so do the rewards, and we have some quite frankly insane infamy sets and notorious items, which is the tier above legendary, that are earned from the highest tiers of Endgame. Yep. That, paired with global leaderboards for solo, 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player groups, mean that there's plenty of friendly competition to go around. And if you want some tips on how to build your character, the leaderboards will be a good place to scout around. And let's see here. Thank you, Axel, and also not thank you. You've made Endgame too fun, and my boss keeps catching me leveling up my mastery level instead of working. Sorry, not sorry. And then we have the last words from the devs themselves. Thank you for joining our first Discord Q&A, and we can't wait to do more of these. Special thank you to our moderators, too, for helping this run so smoothly. I hope we provided a better look into the game and will continue to answer questions as we see them. Community is of great value to us, and please know we're here, we're listening, and we're taking feedback seriously. And I can't wait to see what they do going forward. One last thing before we go, since we just finished talking about our endgame, here's a tease for something that might come even later. See you soon. Oh, wow. And the image is this very carnal looking building with an opening that has a very familiar smile on front. Oh, that's going to be interesting. But that is the Q&A. That's the Q&A. Let me see here. All right, let me just check through my own Discord and make sure things are fine and they haven't gone overboard. Yeah, okay. Everything's fine in Discord. Good. Good. As it should be. I will not have any foolishness going through here. All right. All right. We're good on Discord. Epic, right? Miss Joker Blood Patient. I hope that got fully infected. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what this teaser is going to be? Now, mind you, this is just one thing I'm going to be playing from January into February, along with Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. So, yeah, what they're setting up looks like it may actually be incredibly. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to play it. I'm glad that I get to talk to you guys about what I experienced in the alpha, because I've been skating on thin ice, because Senior wants to talk about things, I want to talk about things, but I, being the professional, don't want to break NDA and get in trouble with $1 billion company. And I'm just like a YouTuber with like 4,000 subscribers, and I don't want to get in that kind of trouble. But my time with the alpha, if I have to cap off saying this, and this won't go on for too long because I want to set up for my Grand Blue Fantasy Relink demo stream for later, I have to say that what Rocksteady is doing, is it a departure from what all we know? Especially those of us whose first Rocksteady game was the Arkham series. Mind you, Rocksteady is no stranger to shooter games. Their first game is a shooter. Urban Chaos, it's a shooter. They already know how to make shooters. It's just that they haven't done it because they were doing Batman. But is this a departure? Breaking the NDA would have revoked the legendary status, and I would like to keep that status for as long as possible. This departure from the Batman games we all know and love, it's fine. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't have to be, because so many people are so used to the Batman games that that's all they want Rocksteady to do. And I'm glad that they're deciding, you know what, we want, because here's the thing that some people are thinking, that Warner Brothers forced them to make this game. They didn't. This is the game that they wanted to make. They wanted to make this game. They wanted to make this game. And the Riot game, right? Yes. It's gonna have like a fire on the cover, and then a dude on a Riot shield and Riot gear, all in front of a whole bunch of people. That Urban Chaos. But I can't wait to see what Rocksteady does with this, because let's be honest here. If Rocksteady's games were bad, if Arkham City and Arkham Knight were fundamentally bad games, there would be cause for concern for them to do something different. Completely different from the previous games. There would be cause for concern if they weren't known for how much detail they put into just the Batman games alone. There would be cause for concern. But since the Batman Arkham series is literally one of the best superhero series out there aside from Spider-Man, I don't think there's any reason for us to be overly concerned about them doing a bad job. But that's just me. Some of you may not feel that way, but I feel like if Rocksteady has not done anything wrong with their games, them changing up how they do this game should not be that big of a deal. They chose this game over a Justice League or Superman game, which gives me a humongous amount of trust in them. See, what people seem to think, even though this was already debuffed, is they thought that, oh, the Suicide Squad game was made from the bones of a Superman game, which was never confirmed to be something that they were working on. It was never confirmed, nor did they ever say that they were working on a game. They had concept art, but there was nothing for them to be known as like, oh, they're making a Superman game, or WB told them no, they can't make it. They can't make a Superman game when it was never on the cards from them at all. They've been working on this game this entire time. So I can't wait to see what Rocksteady does. From beginning to end, I can't wait to see what happens. I know for a fact that I'm going to have fun with this. And I don't need much convincing. They've already shown me what I like. I've played what I like in games. That's enough. And I can't wait to play it. And I can't wait to see what they do with the series as the days, months, weeks, years go by. Because, I mean, you got the DC universe. You literally have a ton of content to add stuff on. We're getting Brainiac. What's to stop them from adding Darkseid? If we get Darkseid weapons, if we get Darkseid themed weapons, like Darkseid Omega Effect weapons themed after Darkseid, Doomsday, Reverse Flash. Who's another one? Anti-Monitor. There's so many people. The Bat Who Laughs. There's a lot of things, and I don't want to go into like the whole multiversal thing. I just want to stick to what we have right now. But just a sheer thought that if Brainiac exists, what if we were to ever get anything leading to Darkseid, and we could get that as a gear piece? It's been on my mind ever since this game was formed, but we'll see as things progress. But I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, I was able to give you my thoughts and how I feel about this game, because I tell people all the time how much I like it, but I couldn't say anything about my time in the alpha because of the NDA. But since I'm able to now, I can say with full confidence that this is going to be a game that I play, and I cannot wait. We just got to endure 2 weeks. We just got to endure 2 weeks, and then us deluxe edition owners will be able to play it. But overall, my time with the alpha has already confirmed what I've already, affirmed for myself. I'm going to be playing this game, and it's going to be fun, and I can't wait to see what Rocksteady does with it. Starro, Darkseid, Anti-Monitor, Zod, Doomsday, Amazo, so much possibilities. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. So, let's see what Rocksteady does. But I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed my little conversation with all of you of me and my time in the alpha. This is harder than the build-up to Christmas. Look, I was waiting so much for the One Piece Pirate Warriors film Red Pack that dropped yesterday, and the build-up for that was all like, another day. God, please let me see another day so I can get one day closer to playing this game. And I'm just grateful to be alive so I can enjoy these things for all of you. And as the channel grows, so too does the enjoyment. So for everyone here, whether you're new or if you're a regular, all I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, even become a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. Is it worth watching One Piece? Yes.